All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Gotcha Smack is back at it again with a bit of a spicy take when it comes to the new Elusive Realm branch off game mode weekly thing we have going on, Fantasies of the Thousand Gateways. And he's saying that this mode is the worst content that Wuthering Waves has released to date. And I think that this might be a bit of a hyperbole. I'm interested in hearing what the reasoning is, because my point of view on it is that the game mode is actually pretty fun, pretty nuanced, and has a lot of interesting new features, but there simply needs to be like some way for the enemies to have more HP. And I know you guys might be thinking, oh wow, he's promoting HP inflation. Wow, all the stuff that makes HSR and Genshin so bad, he just wants those in WuWa. Oh my gosh, look at this toxic positivity. In this game mode, your character's damage gets amplified by at least like 4 to 5 times the damage that they normally deal, but the health of the enemies does not scale from like the overworld challenges that you get. And so what ends up happening is after you get like your first or second upgrade, you start going into these stages and you clear them in like 2 to 3 seconds. You rotate through like half of your DPS's setup, and the enemies are gone. It's kind of like you're not playing the game anymore. You're just like watching stuff blow up after you press a single button. And the thing is, the power-ups are fun. The way that your character's gameplay changes is fun. You just simply don't have any opportunities to actually use all of those power-ups because everything explodes in literally seconds. And so HP inflation here would make the game mode a lot more fun because you'd actually have things to do. You'd actually have things to attack and be able to use all of these buffs to the fullest. That's the difference here. Your damage is increasing by like 10x. The enemy's health has to increase proportionally as well. Otherwise, it's pretty mindless. So with that, that's going to be my initial take on it. Let's see what Gotcha Smack thinks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video by yours truly. We're going to go ahead and get straight into it. I think this mode is the worst piece of content that Wuthering Waves has ever released since the launch of their game. I think this mode is ass. It's a step back from the Elusive Realm, I think, in quite literally every conceivable measure. If you're talking about rewards, infinitely less rewards.
If we're talking about it in terms of a weekly basis, the Elusive Realm gave you a fair number of rewards from initially completing it. But when it came to the weekly rewards that you would get from the Elusive Realm, I believe you would have up to like 12 redemptions you'd be able to do. You didn't get any asteroid for those. All you got were overworld materials and echoes. Unleveled echoes. And so I think from like raw currency perspective, you know, like premium currency perspective, this one is better. I do think it is better, just in terms of the weekly rewards. I understand there's no like achievement-based thing, right? And there's not like a shop, but this is meant to be like a smaller version, right? Like a blitz mode version of the Elusive Realm that has like some of the features, the similar sort of progression, but is meant to be a lot faster. And I think it does hit the mark there when it comes to that.
Right, you got way more shell credits, you got way more echo experience, you got more tuners, you got more the boxes where you can choose your echoes. You even got more astrite, and then you even got a freaking legendary skin.
So he's definitely talking about the Elusive Realm store, and all of the currency that you would get after a clear and then where you spend it. But this is not that. Right? This is not a replacement for the Elusive Realm. And so I think that kind of like the comparison between like this and the fully fleshed out IR, where you only play one character, those characters get like, you know, adjustments to their kit and all of that. I don't think it's like an equivalent comparison. So I think if you're going into this thinking that this is going to be the Elusive Realm and that this is the replacement for the Elusive Realm, you would be disappointed. But I don't think that this is actually the case of what the devs are planning. In the 2.1 live stream, they did say the Elusive Realm is coming back, and this is like not the replacement, what you're seeing over here with Fantasies.
To be fair, on that front, some of those resources most certainly got allocated towards the fishing event. And so you can make an argument that the fishing event just took some of Elusive Realm's rewards and, you know, was put and implemented inside of that. Regardless, if we put the rewards aside, the mode itself is pathetic. There's no challenge, zero sense of danger, zero sense of real purpose, if I'm being completely honest with you. And anything that was enjoyable about the Elusive Realm, which was transforming the abilities of the characters, right? And literally enabling your characters to do things they cannot do elsewhere outside of the mode, They took that out. That's not even in this mode, right? The buffs that they give you in this mode are just, surprise, guys, more damage. Yeah, just more damage.
To be fair, a lot of the character buffs in the elusive realm are literally more damage. You can have like half of the character upgrades are just like increase heavy attack damage by 20% or like increase resonant skill damage by 20%. So I would say that you know, it kind of is similar. Like they do have things where it's like when Jian uses his resonant skill, summon a wind spear where he casted it, and then the wind spear attacks enemies to deal more damage. I do see where the similarities are, but it's like they do have interesting things though that are built into the kits, but a lot of the upgrades, even in the IR itself, do boil down to more damage. And the thing is, those like interesting components of the character's kits, right? Things like the time stop that was in Jinxi's kit, things like brief bits of invulnerability and stuff like that, they're kind of built into the Dreamscape aids instead. And you instead just have like this overarching Dreamscape aid that you can fit any team comp under. And so I think the power-ups and the uniqueness is there. It's just a little bit more freeform because you get to choose the overall upgrade and then choose a team as well. So it's a different flavor. It's a bit of a twist to me, and I don't think it's necessarily worse, but everything that Gotcha Smack was saying before in terms of the difficulty, everything he's saying in terms of like there's no challenge, there's no danger, I think that's 1000% true. I think that is 1000% true. And that's why I'm saying, right, actually having HP inflation in this game mode where you get a fuck ton of damage upgrades would be something that actually improves it a bit more. And then making the enemies hit a little bit harder, make use of the actual healer, right, that you have in your lineup because you're playing a full 3-person team.
Now there was 3 buffs in the beginning. There was a stagnation buff and there was 2 others that I don't really remember. I picked the stagnation buff. Newsflash, if you haven't done this mode yet, the stagnation buff is the most absurd and broken buff in this mode.
True.
You pretty much just perma-slow all the enemies. They can't move, and it's just trivialized to the highest capacity. But as I'm going through this mode, and I'm going through these different areas, and I'm doing this, I'm literally just feeling nothing but the term chore. I guess I'm going to get this out the way. I did say I was going to try this mode. I literally said curiosity killed the cat because that's what I felt like after I did the mode. I was like, the fuck did I do this for? Oh, that's why I was just curious to see what it was about. Why would I not do new content in the game? But we got to the boss at the end and I'm thinking, okay, maybe this boss is going to be somewhat challenging. It was reminiscent of Zenless Zone Zero when it first came out. Does everybody remember when Zenless Zone Zero first came out? Yeah, it became a meme. It became a meme of the difficulty of the game just being a complete fucking joke, of the enemies just never moving, right? I'm gonna hit you.
So this is how I view it. If you want to have more fun, don't use the stagnation one, because as you can see, the stagnation one is sort of just like the easy mode clear. You've got other Dreamscape aids you can use if you want a bit more of a challenge, right? And the way that I view it is the stagnation debuff just kind of seems to me to be like the one size fits all, the solution for all of the skill issue players. Because let's be honest here, right? There's a good sizable portion of the populace with a weekly mode that is gating your astrite. They just want one way to get it done super easy, to get it done super quick, and, you know, make it less of a chore for people. And if this is something that you can just do once a week, you pick the easiest buffs possible, you get the most consistent clears, hey, I mean, that's going to be something that a lot of like extremely casual players are going to be looking forward to. And this is the thing, having an option for the casuals isn't inherently a bad thing. I think this just means if you want a more engaging and enjoyable experience, just don't choose this buff. They have other options for a reason. I think that if the stagnation buff was the only one you were able to choose, this could be like a bigger complaint. But the fact of the matter is, guys, I mean, we've got 2 others, right? We've got 2 others on the screen right there. We can just select those, right? If we're looking for a bit more of an engaging experience. I picked the stagnation one myself, right? And I thought it was absolutely a cakewalk. No difficulty at all. But next week, I'm going to be excited to try out some different ones and then see how different the experience is. Because at the end of the day, right? If you are viewing it as a chore and you are just using it to get the astrites, the weekly ones, then yeah, I'm glad you have an easier option. But if you are looking for something in terms of like replayability to have more fun, I mean, yeah, we can just select the harder options.
That's pretty much the experience I had with the boss. Didn't even get a chance to move. He just did not move. And so I'm sitting here playing this mode and I'm like, is there any incentive for me to play this fucking mode? Is there any incentive? Oh, I could spend my stamina. Or maybe it gives me something that I can't get elsewhere in the game. No, it gives you the literally, and I mean literally, exact same rewards 1-to-1 that a tacit field gives you. Except the tacit field takes 1/10 of the time. You see what I'm saying here?
This is a two birds, one stone sort of situation. I don't think like dissing on the tacit field rewards is like that big of a deal because A, you get free form boxes. This is going to be especially relevant for players who have built up a very big inventory of echoes, a very, very big inventory of echoes. And this means that they can decide when to redeem their tacit field rewards at any time. And this showing up at boxes is actually really important for a lot of players where now people can do tacit fields without impacting their echo inventory. And yeah, I mean, I think that's a big deal for a lot of players, right, who really love echo farming. It's there. And sure, you could say that, yeah, this isn't as time efficient as tacit fields, but again, like you're getting 160 astrite for doing this once a week, and you get to do your tacit fields at the same time, spend all your wave plates, and complete your dailies. Because doing this run and then redeeming the wave plates, right, it will complete all of your dailies at the same exact time while you're doing this weekly event. And to me, that's chill. Right? That's a chill way to log into the game on a Monday. I don't think there's anything too crazy with that.
This took me 18 minutes. If you're a little bit more strictly business, it might take you about 15 minutes. Well, tacit field takes me less than 60 seconds, right? Do it times 2, well, that's less than 2 minutes. And then boom, I'm done. Got my tacit field out the way. Good for the day. This only has to be done one time a week to be completely fair, but I would rather just not do it at all. In fact, I'm going to be honest. I would rather this fucking one wish that they give you with this purple echo experience and character experience. I would have rather you just put that in the fishing event and just completely get this mode just out of the game. It's that horrible. It really is, guys. As I said, it's a step back from the elusive realm. It's not fun. It's just a chore. It's just something to do. It is the definition of filler content. You want to know what's funny? Is when you did the elusive realm, you didn't have to spend stamina to get echoes. In fact, one of the best things about the elusive realm is that you just got echoes for free.
I mean, to be fair, the weekly version of the elusive realm also didn't give you tubes or tuners. That's what the wave plates are for. Let's be honest here, right? The wave plates are here so that you could get tubes and tutors from the redemption, not really necessarily for the echoes. And I would also say that for the echoes that you got from the elusive realm, they were entirely 1000% completely random. You didn't get to choose which set you didn't get to choose like if they were going to be 1 or 3 costs, where you know the tacit field rewards are weighted more towards 3 costs. I think that they are fundamentally a lot more different and they solve different problems. I think it's, you know, and we got to do like, you know, we got to have a bit more of like that differentiation in mind, I think, before like doing like these super raw comparisons between the two and then saying one is better than the other. That's my take on it, at least.
You know, you would get through the certain parts, boom, wait, hold up. Here's some free ass echoes. Here's some free ass ascension materials, brother, on the house. You could do it 15 times a week. That was literally an incentive of the elusive realm.
Some could say, though, using the same argument that you're using, Smack, that the elusive realm 12 runs a week was also a chore, because now they're thinking, oh my gosh, to optimize all of my gameplay and make sure that I'm getting the most echoes possible, I've got to do this 12 times a week. Otherwise, if I'm not doing this 12 times a week, it's not really 12, it was more like 4 when you redeem it like 3 times per. Oh my gosh, like I have to do this like 3 times a week to get all of the rewards possible. Oh my gosh, it's taking so long. I would imagine there was a fair number of people that were saying having to run it 3 times at the highest difficulty was like too much of a time commitment to get everything, to get all the weekly rewards possible. I'm pretty sure it would have been really easy for Kuro Games to make it slightly more rewarding, but require more runs. But I think there's a reason why they didn't do it, because we do have to think pretty seriously about the casual part of the player base. My oh my, I don't think that they were going to be good on doing like 3 to 4 runs of this a week. That's honestly just my take. And I think I might be a little bit hasty with what I'm saying here, but I feel like Gacha Smack kind of has like an issue with this mode because there's no more real incentive to do it more than once a week, when I do think the whole once a week thing is what players found to be the most palatable and what Kuro decided to implement during the design.
But in here, that's why I said it was a step back. Like, it's gonna cost you 60 stamina, bucko. And I think it's insulting when somebody goes, well, better than nothing. Well, at least it's giving you, honestly, I thought it was it's insulting, man. Guys, listen, it's okay to praise the game where it deserves to be praised. It's not okay to do this copium-induced bullshit where we pretend like this type of garbage is like fine. No, man. It's been since 1.4, we haven't seen the elusive realm. Why did they get a pass in 2.0? Because it was, in my personal opinion, the greatest gacha patch I've ever experienced in my life. And so it got a pass. Who cares they didn't have elusive realm in 2.0?
I think a lot of this is based off the idea that the elusive realm is getting replaced by this. This is an add-on to the elusive realm. This isn't a replacement for the game mode. And so I can understand where some of the frustration is coming from on Gacha Smack's end in regards to the game mode, because I do think he genuinely thinks that there is going to be no more elusive realm because this is here. I feel like that is one of the main reasons behind his take. And I might be entirely completely wrong about that, but that's what I do think is sort of going on right now.
That's so much more banger shit to experience. The freshness of a brand new exploration and things to do, a storyline, all that good stuff. We know it. I don't have to explain it anymore. But no elusive realm in 2.1 is, I'm going to be honest, it was just disappointing. Oh, we're cooking it. You've been cooking it for 2 months. All right, what's going on here, buddy? All right, at this point, I mean, I don't know what else to tell y'all, bro. Like, when are we getting the elusive realm back? Because it was just so much more fun than this shit, bro. Like, I mean, am I the odd man out here? I genuinely feel from the bottom of my heart, if you think this mode is anything but ass, your opinion isn't worth a fucking pot to piss in, guys. Okay, sure, you get some currency. They gave you the.
I gotta say, I think that's going a little bit. I think that's going a little bit too far. I think that is going a little bit too far with that one. I mean, a lot of people are taking the mode at face value, and they're just like, yeah, it's got fun stuff. It's got fun upgrades. It's a pretty okay and fun time. It doesn't require a huge amount of time commitment, and there's a lot of replayability in terms of like the different buffs you can get. And I literally just think it's just like have some ways for the enemies to be a little bit more tanky so that they don't explode instantly. I mean, the gameplay that he showed, right, was him using the stagnation buff and then just beating the shit out of everything with them having no option to fight back. And it's just like, well, hey, you got 2 other things to use over here. And yeah, I mean, hey, if we chose like the super easy one, yeah, it's gonna be super easy. But we got options though. Yeah, simply not having like more possible redemption rewards is, I don't know if that's the issue or if the issue is like it's just not as it's like the difficulty's not there. But again, and I think this is the thing, I think it's a bit of a hyperbole, because a lot of the flaws that he's bringing up, or a lot of like the reasons for why the game mode isn't good, I think it's literally just minor tweaks to the balancing, and the game mode is pretty good. It's pretty fine. I think it's a similar take to WuWa, right? Where WuWa has like some issues with it, but some minor tweaks and some minor updates, and the game mode I think is pretty actually very good. And I do think that when we are able to like boil down our argument or boil down why something is bad, and the solution to the things that we're saying is bad are like very simple to integrate. I mean, could it really be that bad in the first place? There's a very low amount of effort we need to fix these game modes and make them, very good and very replayable.
Some currency. They gave you the least amount of currency that they could possibly give you, though. Literally mint picking currency. Guys, it takes me less than, I'm gonna be honest. All I do is go to a tacit field and I do ×2 times. Right? That's 240 stamina in a single day. I get that done in less than 2 minutes. I do my daily as soon as I do that. My daily is 60. I could do that in 3 days and get the exact same amount of resources that I got from this, and still it would take me a grand total of 6 minutes to knock that shit out and get the same shit here.
Well, I think to be fair, right, the 160 asteroid that we're seeing on here, it's not like we're losing anything to get them. And if anything, yeah, it's like 160 asteroid that is just being added on to the income for the patch every single week. The whole like tacit field argument of like, oh, I'll just spend 6 minutes on the tacit field. Well, I mean, if you spend 6 minutes doing tacit fields, you're not getting this 160 asteroid, because it's like the 160 asteroid is just there along with all the shell credits and stuff. It's just there. This is just something we did not have before. Everyone's saying, yay, one pull, but it's one pull a week that you didn't have before. Like it just wasn't in the game before, and now it's here. So I don't understand like where the whole like sarcasm is coming from. It's just 160 pulls or 160 astrite that we didn't have before, that you're now just getting for 15 minutes a week. And during those 15 minutes, you get the opportunity to spend your daily waypoints as well.
This mode is ass. It shouldn't be in the game. I don't even have any feedback for you to improve it. Yeah, listen, just delete it and put Elusive Realm back in here. Out of all the modes that you guys could make permanent, you chose the most worthless one. You're gonna do this mode and you're gonna look at the buffs and you're gonna be like, none of them look real fun. Apart from the 3 that you picked that actually do something different, like stagnate or shock or whatever. The rest of the buffs increase crit rate, increase crit damage, increase damage bonus, increase attack percent. Not Chang Li's skill, a radius expands. Chang Li's skill now does an additional animation, right? Or Chang Li doesn't have to use her ult to replenish her fucking inflammement meter anymore. Now, every time she does a skill, her inflammament meter replenishes. It doesn't change the functionality of the characters the way that the Elusive Realm did. It's just straight up here, better than nothing. That's the best way to sum up this mode.
I'd agree with what Gotcha Smack is saying if we weren't getting the Elusive Realm anymore and this was the permanent replacement for it. But again, the devs have confirmed this is not a replacement for the full Elusive Realm. And so this is kind of like, we're like shouting at the clouds a little bit. This is a little bit like shouting at the clouds. Yeah, like shadow boxing the air. Because again, like these concerns that he's expressing, they're entirely valid. But we have received confirmation that like the basis for these concerns is kind of like not really there. And so I think if you're viewing this game mode with the framing that it's not a replacement, it's simply like another like fun bit of repeatable content with like a good bit of replayability and, you know, a lot of potential for nuance and uniqueness. That's like, it's a smaller scale version of the IR. I think if you just view it like that, I think it's cool, right? I think it's fine. But if you're viewing it from the framing of this is replacing the IR, we're not getting the IR because of this, and look at all the cool things that the IR does, and then look at all the things that this game mode doesn't do that the IR did, then yeah, I think you could. I think it's fair for Gotcha Smack to have this viewpoint, but I think the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, this is an offshoot, right? This is the blitz mode of the IR. It's meant to be faster. It's meant to be like not as like crazy in scope, and it's meant to be easier as well. And I mean, hey, he said he's not going to come in with some feedback for some changes. This would be my feedback for some of the changes. You add a higher difficulty or like some way for the enemies, some optionality, right? Maybe the stages get harder. The enemies have more HP, but there's less stages for you to do. Currently, I think there's like 13 stages available that you go through with the boss at the end. What if you have like a higher challenge version, right? Where the enemies have more HP, the enemies hit harder, there's a little bit more risk, and you only have to complete like 9 stages instead. And so you have a little bit more challenge up front, but you don't have as many stages to do. And so that's kind of like the reward or the trade-off, right? For choosing the higher difficulty. And then I think that solves a lot of the problems for some of the people, right, that are saying that this is just like low effort, complete cakewalk to get to the end. It feels more like a chore. Less stages, higher difficulty, people have the option, and then they get the full 6,000 points, doing less but more high intensity content. And I think it's good. I really do think it's just kind of like good, if that's one of the solutions that they're going for. And yeah, that would be my way to fix the game mode for people that are a little bit more hardcore and aren't as casual.
And so what I'm going to tell you guys is give the feedback to them and say, y'all can have this shit. Never drop this in the game again. Okay? And hurry the fuck up with Elusive Realm, because this was pathetic, guys. All right, I'm just going to say it. I give Wuthering Waves a lot of praise. I'm very fair a lot of the times. I think I'm being very fair right now. The soft fucking snowflakes are not gonna like how I'm conveying this message. But hey, if it's shit, I'm gonna say it's shit and I won't be nice about it. That's the type of person I am. And if you don't like that, just don't watch my fucking content, guys. That's the best way to put it. That's gonna wrap up all the thoughts that I had to share about Fantasy of the Thousand Shit Ways. Frontier of the Ruin. You ruined.
Bro is so heated over a game mode. I don't think I've ever seen somebody this mad at a game mode before. If I'm just being entirely honest, I feel like I haven't seen somebody this mad about a game mode before. He's like fucking furious, if we're being honest here.
Give me Elusive Realm now!
But again, the way I'll cap it off is if he's under the assumption that this is a permanent replacement to the Elusive Realm, that the Elusive Realm is never coming back, and that this is going to be the alternative moving forward for every single patch, then yeah, I could see where he's coming from. But unfortunately, or rather fortunately, that's not the reality of the situation here. And they're going to come back with another Elusive Realm. This is not going to be the replacement for it in all of perpetuity. And I think it's going to be just fine. And with some small tweaks, again, just like WuWa, I think this will be a fine game mode. Yeah, I would say this was a bit of a hot take. This was a bit of a hot take. I think the title alone says enough. Let me know what you all think. I think that I was pretty fair in my analysis of his critiques. I think I try to give like a lot of like reason for why some of the things are being said. And yeah, I think I stayed pretty faithful to the overall charting of the video. So with that, again, let me know what you all think. Peace out.